Everyone, welcome to the show. So very significant news out of Georgia. The Georgia Court of Appeals overturned a lower court's ruling, and they determined that Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis should be removed from the RICO case against Donald Trump and his 18 allies. In their ruling, the judges wrote that although, quote, an appearance of impropriety generally is not enough to support disqualification, this is the rare case in which disqualification is mandated and no other remedy will suffice to restore public confidence in the integrity of these proceedings. So this decision wasn't unanimous. It was a 2-to-1 vote. The dissenting judge issued a pretty scathing dissent opinion. This is Judge Benjamin Land. He slammed his two colleagues for overruling the lower court because that judge determined that there was no conflict of interest or actual impropriety, which is what they should be looking at. So Judge Land stated, quote, "We have no authority to reverse the trial court's denial of a motion to disqualify. None." And then further down in his opinion, he went on to say, quote, "I believe our case law prohibits us from rejecting that remedy just because we don't like it or just because we might have gone further had we been the trial judge." And the dissenting judge pointed out that this is the first time in their state's history that they've disqualified a prosecutor for the appearance of impropriety. Not something actually happening that was inappropriate, but it looking like there may have been. Especially, he said, when the trial judge held hearings, interviewed all the witnesses, and personally, weighed all the evidence, and yet he came to a completely different conclusion. And I'll remind you what this is about. She had a personal, I guess you could say sexual relationship with one of the prosecutors that she hired. So they tried to say, oh, this is a conflict of interest. It has no bearing on whether or not the charges are legitimate, whether or not Trump and his allies committed crimes. So here's where things stand. Willis has appealed this already. This is going to go to the Georgia Supreme Court. They will make the final determination. And the appeals panel denied Trump's request to dismiss the charges. So the case isn't done. It's not over. So even if Willis loses the appeal with the Georgia Supreme Court, the case could theoretically continue on with a different prosecutor. Now, here's the rub. Here's why it might not happen. This is why it could be the end of this case. According to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, if Willis loses her appeal, the case then gets transferred to a nonpartisan state agency called the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia. That agency decides which prosecutor receives the case. Now, unfortunately, as the AJC points out, other prosecutors might not be so excited to take this case, right? Because it's so complex, it's resource intensive. They also mention, which is obvious, Willis has been receiving a ton of threats. So since she brought the charges, she's received a ton of threats. People have been prosecuted for those threats. So that could intimidate some other prosecutors and make them go, yeah, I'm not really up for this. So there you go. Trump's terrorists win again, right? Trump gets yet another pass, potentially, for his alleged criminal behavior. And yet, the right complains about Antifa and BLM. Funny, because I don't remember any cases against left-wingers being thrown out because of pressure and threats from Antifa and BLM. Do you? Yeah, Hunter Biden, right? Eric Adams. In fact, Trump might pardon Eric Adams, who should not get a pardon if the allegations against him are legit. Bob Menendez. I mean, no left-wingers are out protesting or saying these charges shouldn't be brought. And those are just a few that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure there's many, many more. I mean, nobody's out, in the streets or threatening prosecutors over P. Diddy. I mean, if the guy did everything he's accused of, you couldn't bury him deep enough underground for me. So, anyway, I will keep you posted on all of this. I'll let you know what happens with the appeal. And if it gets reassigned, of course, I will definitely stay on this. So thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like this video. Please share it. Please become a subscriber. There's so many of you still acting shady. There's like 27% of the people who watch my videos are subscribed. That is insane that it's that low. So totally free, doesn't cost you a dime. Just hit the subscribe button below this video or in any videos that you're watching here on my channel on Raw News and Politics. It really helps out the show, really helps out the channel, get more eyeballs on this information. So appreciate it. If you can donate, that would be awesome. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.